how to gain more power, speed, and strength by using the BOSU Elite. Hey everyone, this is Neil Barnhill with the Barnhill Golf Institute. Today is part one of a 5-part series on how to use the BOSU Elite training ball to gain more power, speed, and strength. What makes this ball unique is the fact it's a 3D dome and has a pressurized elastic resistance. Today in part one, I'm going to show you the stance and how to do an effective squat on the BOSU Elite ball, and this will be called compression strength training. So before we get started, I want to read from the inventor what makes this unique and why this is important. Okay, from David Weck. He is the owner of the Weck method. And he says, the BOSU Elite allows you to engage in an isometric compression that is dynamic. With a pressurized elastic resistance, it is not a stalemate. That means you're standing on a stable, unstable device versus on the ground. It is a highly charged micro give and take, and when the intention is maximized, the nervous system is being stimulated to learn how to fire more force faster. So it enhances power unlike anything else. And because of the shape, we're able to train the adductors in an entirely different way. By doing that, we're able to deeper recruit muscles in the glutes. All right, that is incredible what he stated there, and I'm going to explain in a little bit more detail what that means. So, when you get on here, and I'm going to show you in the squat, the adductors are inner thigh. And when you're on this 3D, highly pressurized elastic resistance, it's different than being on the ground. So you can activate these muscles totally different. It hits your nervous system, and it recruits muscles much deeper that you couldn't do on the ground. So that is totally unique. And by doing so, when you hit the adductors, it's going to force your glutes back here to really fire, and you can feel it when you're on this. And it's totally different. You can't train your adductors or glutes on anything else except like the BOSU Elite training ball. So let's get started and showing you how to do compression strength training by doing the correct squat on the BOSU Elite. All right, here's what the BOSU Elite ball looks like. We got a power zone for half of it. It's got numbers in the center line, and here's the other half. It's going to be important as we go through this series of how to do these exercises. You know, there's going to be different placements of our hands, our feet, of where it should be, and it's important. So today, we're going to talk about the stance and how to do a squat on here. And the stance and the squat is going to be a 45-degree stance. And this is a basis for when we start doing the kettlebell swings. It's going to be the same stance. So this is the foundational movement that we have to learn first with this ball. All right, so we're going to get on here. Our heels are going to be about 1 inch apart, and we're going to angle our feet out 45 degrees. Okay, so now I'm going to get my balance, and I can feel the pressure on the 4th and 5th metatarsal, which is my outside part of my feet, and my toes are above that center line. So before I do, this is my stance. Next, I'm going to squeeze, and I'm going to squeeze my adductors here, and you can see my knees are out. So before I squat down, and I'm going to squat down about 5 to 6 inches. It can be different for different people out there. It might be 3, but 6, 7 inches at the most. And I'm going to squeeze like crazy, and I'm going to go down real slow. I'm squeezing, and when I come up, I'm going to feel like I'm grabbing the ball with my feet, maintaining that pressure. I'm going to do 3 of those. You can see I'm struggling here to talk. I mean, that is really fighting me. And then I'm going to go down again, 1 more, and I'm going to get off. Wow. So there's 4 immediate carryover effects when you get off from that. 1 is you're lighter on your feet. 2, your glutes are engaged. You're walking easier on the balls of your feet, and also an enhanced squat. So if you're not feeling that immediately when you get off, you weren't doing it correctly. Also worth noting with this is the more you give it, the more it gives back. So a stronger person, for instance, it's going to be harder because if you give it more pressure, it's going to give you more back. So someone just starting out, the pressure isn't as great, might be able to do more reps than somebody who's able to really give it a lot of squeeze. All right, so I'm gonna show you from the side here what it looks like. So when I'm on here, you got the stance, you got the squeeze, you got the compression, and the last thing, you've got the shin and the spine angles are the same. So we're gonna show you how it looks. So when I go down in the squat, the angle of my shins and my spine should be exactly the same, okay? And to do that, you have to really engage your body, and that is the compression part of it. All right, again, I'm gonna get my stance. Okay, there we go. Get everything engaged, and I'm gonna squeeze. I got my knees out, okay? And I'm gonna go down real slow, fighting for it, and then I'm gonna come back up. Wow, I feel half my body weight there. I feel so light. It is incredible. I've never experienced anything in all of my training. I've been using this for about 6 weeks. And one of the benefits, when you start out, you can prime yourself. And what that means is I can do a few of those squats and it activates my glutes like nothing else I've ever felt. And I go into a squat and I can go to 135 pounds for me. And I can immediately go up to heavier weights without as much warm up, because this warms you up. So you got the priming effect. The other thing I've been able to do with my training is use it in my CrossFit, cross-training workouts. It's one exercise of my interval training. So it could be, I could do push-ups, I could do back squats, and then I could do squats on this, and I could just do interval training, and that's another effective way of using it. How does this relate to golf? Well, the stronger your legs are and the stronger your glutes are, and nobody talks about the adductors. There's no way to train these effectively unless you got this BOSU Elite. So that's gonna give you more stability at setup, stronger legs, and also more explosiveness with using the ground for power, the vertical force. So it has so many athletic carryover effects that it's absolutely amazing. So that is the squat stance. Took me a couple weeks to get really effective with that. You want to get good with this before we go into part 2 and part 3 and how we use the compressive streak training for the push-up and also kettlebell swings. It's highly effective and it's really incredible. All right, that's the squat stance, 45-degree angle, using the BOSU Elite training ball. Highly effective training movement that will recruit muscles in your body that you've never felt before in your adductors and your glutes. So in part 2, we're going to be able to use this technique to show you how to do kettlebell swings with the BOSU Elite ball, which is totally different than the traditional kettlebell swing. Until then, please check out barnhillgolf.com, and I hope everybody stays safe and healthy out there, and we'll see you in part 2.